Hello and welcome to Finovate TV, live from Finovate Fall in New York. I'm delighted to be joined by Loveleen Sidho, co-founder, president, and chief strategy officer at Bank Mobile, Kristen Slink, co-founder and chief product officer at Loan Hero, and Vicky Zhao, co-founder at Wise Banyan. I'm delighted you guys could join me. We're here today to talk about women and technology. So I thought we'd kick off by kind of running down the line from my left, and we'll start with you, Kristen.
Great.
And the idea is really to talk about some of the challenges that you faced, both as a woman in technology and financial services, both industries of which aren't renowned for their diversity. So can we kind of start with you, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that you faced?
Yeah, definitely. Well, to start, my name is Kristen Slink. I'm the co-founder and chief product officer of Loan Hero. We're a technology platform that businesses use to extend loans to their customers. So we work in industries that are important to life, such as medical expenses, home improvements, and automotive. And we have a suite of lenders for one streamlined user experience. So some challenges that I face is I actually have a very unique dynamic going on. My co-founder's male. And so I always, see different nuances in the way that we're speaking with others, challenges of being, taken seriously, other challenges such as, really having to watch how I'm presenting myself and how I'm speaking. I feel like I always have to be aware.
What do you mean by that? To kind of give yourself a gravitas, or that you're concerned that you're being judged in a different way?
I'm concerned that I'm being judged in a different way. I want to be taken seriously, but I don't want to be too serious or too friendly, and so you always
want to be yourself.
Yeah, I want to be myself, which is a very outgoing person, and so sometimes in business that's not really taken well.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Vicky, do you have some reflections on some challenges that you face as a?
Yeah, I definitely do. One is actually related to even the product company that we run, and then the other one is something similar to what you're talking about. So, just quick background: I'm the co-founder of Wise Banyan, and we help people save and invest money. What's really interesting is because we're a consumer-facing company, we actually end up helping a lot of women save and invest money, whether it's saving for their kids or to buy a home one day, but what's really interesting is, especially in the early days, a lot of people just kind of assumed our product was geared towards just men. Because if you look kind of at like consumer-facing financial services, oftentimes it's about faster trading or cooler analytics. But what's interesting is we've essentially become a really big proponent or advocate for the consumer themselves. And it could be for women, it could be for men, but it's really about the goals that people are saving for. And what's interesting is once you start talking about money and goals, you start seeing that when a lot of women think about money, it's not just about how can I make a X return or how can I trade this faster, but it's really about, can I put a roof over my family's head? Can I give them financial safety? So what's interesting is we started off having to be, or I, having to be an advocate for, women founders or women in tech or financial services, and now we found ourselves in a position where we're also being an advocate for kind of women as consumers. The other thing I would say is I feel like a lot of times, I don't know if you guys see it too, but get pigeonholed into like something about women. So it's not so much where it's like when it's a panel or something like what we're doing right now where we're trying to start the conversation. That's always super interesting. But I found a lot of cases where, say I'm doing an interview for an article, and it can be nuanced. They'll ask questions where it's like, who is your businesswoman role model? And oftentimes I'll find myself thinking, why can't it just be a role model or a business role model who is a woman? It's almost always this assumption that, oh, there's this male version of it, and then we have to specify the women version of it. And I don't know if it's because I'm a woman founder, but I find myself in that bucket all the time.
Yeah.
So do you think that creates additional pressure that you have to be something other than just a founder and an innovator, that you need to live up to some other expectation, or you need to be an activist, or?
Maybe. I mean, it's something I'm passionate about. I think we all talked about it before. So regardless, we will be an advocate for it, right? I'll always talk about this topic. But one thing I found is I always get the question where it's like, is it extra hard to be a woman founder? And I always find myself telling people where it's like, being a founder is already, I think difficult, but being a woman founder is also, it's gotten to a point where it's like difficult regardless. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about whether it's like added level of difficulty. It's just like, it's difficult, I'm gonna overcome the goal. And a lot of mentality, I think, is similar to what you're saying, where it's just like, always be that extra, do that extra level, make sure that it's there. But being put in that bucket constantly, I feel like I'm sure other women entrepreneurs find themselves in that position too.
Yeah, although I suppose thinking about women and men earlier in their career, it's great to have a role model like you guys to look up to. So I can understand how that can create pressure, but it's actually also great that you guys are doing what you do. Loveleen, does any of that resonate with you and your experience over your career?
Firstly, just to introduce Bank Mobile a little bit.
Yeah.
So Bank Mobile is the largest and fastest growing digital bank serving millennials and underbanked and middle income Americans. And we're really about creating affordability and convenience and also just educating people in terms of being able to save and really aspire to having a strong financial foundation. So that being said, being a woman founder, I echo a lot of the same sentiments that you guys said, where I think it's definitely a challenge, but I view the challenge as such an opportunity. Like, I tend to be the only woman at the senior leadership table. I tend to be, this is a unique panel, but whenever I'm speaking at events, the only woman and usually one of the youngest. So it's young plus woman, which is a different combination of the challenge. And I think that we are in such a unique position to really trailblaze and create an opportunity for other women to be inspired by the work that we're doing, because tech and specifically fintech can really benefit from a lot of the innovation, the creativity, the intellect, the empathy that women have, and all human beings at some level, but we're missing women being at the table and adding that perspective and their perspective. So yeah, it's definitely a challenge, but also a huge opportunity.
It sounds also like, from what all of you have touched upon, is it's important to have women at the table because they're better representing the needs of women, whether it's investing or banking services, and you're able to create, this is about personalization as much as, male, female, that better meet the needs of women across all income groups.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of research showing that diverse teams usually work the best and come up with the best ideas. So
yeah, I mean, I think there's lots of great research about, the benefits of diversity of all kinds, not just gender, of all kinds. But, that brings up a really good question. How do you move from, this is a goal, this is all what we all want. How do you get there? How do you take practical action? How do you get to the point where you don't look out at a fintech conference and, see 90% men?
I think it's awareness. I think gender bias is on both sides of the table. So even though we'd like to think that there isn't any, there's some nuances there. There's support with the Heidi Howard study where we're really judged differently than men are, and so really being aware of that and understanding it, and just really trailblazing the way from others, leading by example, pointing things out, not being afraid to do so and speak up.
So filtering that message throughout the entire team at your organization.
Absolutely.
So awareness, do you think, is an important step towards practical action, practical solutions?
Yes. Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think the other thing is, what I really get excited about is what we do also empowers other people, right? So certainly I think our team has been empowered to think a little bit outside the box, to see that people from different backgrounds bring a very interesting perspective, and it helps our product. But I think more powerfully, especially on the B2C side, is what our product can empower people to do, right? So right now we have 30,000 people using it, almost half are women. And a lot of them are using it not even just for personal goals, but for goals professionally as well, right? So you have women who are small business owners who are saving up to get something big for their small business, or to be able to make that jump to start their own business. And I feel like if I can do that a few hundred times, a few thousand times over, that's huge. That is a few thousand more people who are in our positions, who are now able to be that role model, who are able to spread that awareness, who are able to start that conversation that we're having right now. So I feel like anytime a company is in a position, whether their clients are people or companies, you always have that kind of powerful switch that you can help do, where you're doing it across your team, but then also across all your customers and clients, and trying to help them be empowered and spread the message too.
So in that sense, the practical action that you see comes through the actual product themselves, and the, whether it's investing in a business or better managing your finances, what it delivers to the end user.
Exactly, and this is a little bit more sort of nuanced to what we do, but because we help people do the saving investing portion, I feel like that's almost step one, and it becomes really powerful, right? And so you have a lot of companies that previously were catered more towards men, I would say, and it really helps them become empowered to start businesses and help people. But I feel like anytime you have a company, it sounds like all of our companies are in that position that can do that and help really people from different backgrounds. It might not even just be based on gender, but if you can help people from different backgrounds, whether they're socioeconomically or even where people live, et cetera, you can really start kind of dropping, it's like the ripple effect, right? You kind of drop a pebble in a pond, a pool, in the lake, and you start seeing this effect happen all over the place.
Yeah, no, that's great. Loveleen, do you have any thoughts on practical action? How can we, obviously starting from younger ages, get more girls and young women into tech? Probably the same goes for financial services. Do you have any personal reflections on what you think is an effective
It's
action?
not just tech. I think it's in general leadership. I mean, there's so much talk about the lack of women founders, the lack of CEOs in the Fortune 500 group that are women representing. And I think that those of us on this panel and other founders that are women, both have an internal responsibility and an external. I think both of you touched upon it. But internally, I just feel that we have an opportunity to elevate the women in our organization, as well as recruit women into our organization, and then foster them to be true leaders in this space, and to also try to get rid of the gender income gap that we've been seeing, and making sure that we're treating them as equals at the table, letting their voice be heard, but also monetarily. And then externally, I feel the same. Like, we have 1.8 million, millennials banking with us, basically. Average age is 27. And a lot of them are women. 2/3 of our customers are women. They're minority women. A lot of them are single mothers. And it's such an opportunity, as you were saying, from our consumer product that we're offering to be able to help them elevate their financial lives, whether that's building credit. Because without having credit, or being on the blacklist for credit, they don't have that many opportunities open to them. So as simple as being able to help them build the building blocks of their financial foundation so they can really aspire and reach those dreams, and hopefully some of them will be in tech and fintech and in leadership positions.
I think what each of you has highlighted so beautifully is the importance of having women involved across the entire organization, whether or not it's informing the development of products and services or elevating women within your own organization. So thank you. It's been great to have you guys join us. Look forward to, I know you're all participating in different sessions across the next day or so really look forward to hearing more from you guys. And I'm also delighted to add that we have a number of great founders and female leaders in fintech joining us as well across a number of different sessions. So it's not just the three of you. And thank you very much for joining us, and look forward to seeing you at the rest of Finovate Fall. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.